Hi, good morning, everyone. It's the day after Election Day, Friday, August the 5th. Um, just eating a little breakfast here. Got my coffee, and just wanted to kind of think a little bit on, uh, I guess, some of the lessons of yesterday. Obviously, we're going to have a debrief at our Democratic Party meeting on August 9th, and this is open to the public, including independents. And if you want to come in and share your thoughts about the election, what was done right, what was done wrong, I strongly encourage you to come. I know there's a lot of people concerned about the election results this morning. I will say that it was, on the one hand, a pleasure being neighbors with Sheila Butt and the Republican ladies at early voting. Our tents were right next to each other. But at the same time, I am fully aware that she has said and done things over the years that give people reason for concern, and your concerns are valid, and I want to hear them. I will say that I'm definitely going to keep working. Um, I'm probably going to double down and work even harder. I was out at Armory yesterday. I took the day off from work yesterday so that I could be out there and I could support our candidate Jeremy Humphrey, who ran a fantastic campaign. He left it all out on the playing field, to use a sports metaphor. And I was sitting next to Charlie Norman's tent out at the National Guard Armory, and Charlie's aunt and uncle were out there. Aunt Anna and I believe her husband, Charlie's uncle, is Ray. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, Ray and I got talking quite a lot um, while we were out there because there were long stretches where people were not coming in to vote. In fact, I think that's probably one of the stories we need to talk about in this election is why did people not come out to vote? But I digress. So Ray and I were out there talking, and we were shooting the shit about things guys talk about, and we started talking about friends of ours who had been in the service. Now, I wasn't in the service, and Ray said he was in the National Guard, so neither one of us were, military people. But, I was a Navy brat, and my stepdad was in the Army for many years, so I can definitely appreciate some good war stories. So Ray remarked on a friend of his who was at Pearl Harbor, and he couldn't remember which ship his friend was on. Um, During the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. Um, but it was one of the ships that didn't sink. Just for the sake of argument, let's say it was the battleship Tennessee, because Tennessee was there and it didn't sink. So, for lack of knowledge, we're going to say that's the one. So, anyway, his friend, apparently was there during the bombing, and the ship caught fire, and the sailors on board the ship, um, they really didn't have much of an option other than to jump overboard into the harbor. Now there was a lot of gasoline, a lot of oil out there, floating around in the harbor, and of course, jumping off one of those big ships is dangerous just because it's a long fall. But nevertheless, sometimes that's the better option. Um, so a lot of those guys jumped into the harbor, and the Navy came, they fished him out, they dried him off, they gave him a shower. And then, according to Ray, according to what his friend said, they once they got these guys taken care of, they basically got them lined up and said, "Okay, your ship is still on fire. The ship's not going to put itself out. So, your orders are to go back on the ship and put the fire out." Needless to say, a lot of these soldiers were not crazy about this. So the Navy said, okay, well, you see these Marines all lined up here with submachine guns. If you don't get on the boat and fight the fire, we're going to shoot you. Which sounds really inhumane, but I mean that's the nature of war. Is that you got to do what you got to do, or else. And So, of course, they were in the position where they'd had the worst day of their lives, but they had to go back and put out the fire and make things right. And I think, those of us who've been through many elections can say yesterday was not the worst day of our lives. There have been many worse days. But for anyone out there who is scared and upset about the election results yesterday, I will say, while nobody is going to shoot you if you don't get involved in politics, I do think we need to look at this, and just like those men who are on the ship, again, just for sake of analogy, let's say it's the battleship Tennessee. Um, I think those of us who are well enough to go back into the fight need to go back into the fight. It's our ship, and we need to save it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be out there at First Friday. I'm focusing on November. I believe that we can get Heidi Campbell elected to Congress. A lot of people are saying, oh, Andy won the primary. Andy's a shoo-in. Well, first of all, Andy's an idiot. Secondly, this is a competitive district. I mean, the Republicans have an edge. I'm not going to lie. But that edge is like 5-10 points. It's not overwhelming. It's not like some of these seats down here in Murray County that are like 70-30. This is like a 55-45 district. And with a good candidate in Heidi Campbell and a terrible candidate in Andy Ogles, it really is competitive. So I need you guys to believe, because this is a race we can win. Number two, we've got to get the right to work amendment defeated. And I've not had many conversations yet with the UAW CAP committee, but I need to have those. And I will pick up the phone anytime Randall Payne or any people at the CAP committee want to talk to me, because it's that important. We need to get this done. So, right to work, Heidi Campbell. We've got an excellent candidate in State House 64 in Jamison Manor, and I know a lot of people don't like Scott Sapicki. So that's a race we need to focus on as well. So, guys, again, let's not jump ship. Let's go back there. Let's put out these fires. It's going to be a long 4 years for some of us. For some people who are in marginalized communities, it's going to be a longer 4 years. But I need you to know we can do this together. So please hang in there. Peace, y'all.